Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Mom's Clean Air Force Facebook Live. I am Heather McTeer Toney. Very, very happy to see everybody and glad you're joining us back here again for another wonderful monthly check-in with Mom's Clean Air Force. We are so excited and grateful for all of you who are tuning in with us here on Facebook Live and in our podcast. Shout out to all of our friends and family members and members across the country that are joining us today. It's good to see you. Glad you're doing well. Hope everything is fine with you and your family and your children, and that we appreciate you for joining us in acting on climate. So I know we're just getting kicked off and getting started here. I want to give some shout outs to some folks while we're all still gathering. I missed you all in February, but we had so much going on in the month of February. None the least was our active work on hearings on the Hill and getting started with our Community RX program. So I know in Facebook Live world, you have seen a lot of us during the month of February, just maybe not me, and that's perfectly fine. So quick shout out to all of our teams and moms that helped us out on the Hill. Thank you so much for coming to Washington. Trisha, thank you so much for coming in and helping to coordinate all of our folks and our moms there in Washington, D.C., and to be present at each and every single one of those hearings. Shaquila, thank you, and Dr. Tanya Howard Calhoun for all of your work on Community RX. It was amazing just to see the turnout of people as we kicked off such a wonderful program. So just really exciting. And real quick, if you didn't know from the Community RX program, we kicked it off in Atlanta, Georgia. And on Saturday, the big day of our event, there were 84 people who joined us to come out and plant trees. It was an amazing sight. So I want you to make sure that you stay tuned with us and stay tuned with our website so that you can see all of those wonderful pictures and that you can find ways to get engaged in your own community. So as everyone again is gathering, hi Trisha, let's see, hi Bob, good to have you. Thanks for joining us. Hey Jonathan, Didi, Annika, Gail, thank you for joining us and keeping up the good fight, because we can't do this without you. Catherine, thanks so much for joining us. Great to have you all a part of our family. Imani, a wonderful, glorious afternoon to you all as well. So we're going to get started because there is so much to talk about today. And what we are really going to hit on is Wheeler, what next? Because you heard so much from moms and the moms team about fighting against Andrew Wheeler as the EPA administrator. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Wheeler was confirmed on a vote of 52 to 47 by the United States Senate, but that does not stop our fight. This may have been a battle that was won, but not the war. And why do I say that? It's because you were so integral in helping to get every last one of those votes, all of those votes. And we said 47, but actually it would be 48 because we had another senator who was not present come and make sure she gave a statement that said that she too was voting against Andrew Wheeler. That work could not have been done without you. So a heartfelt thank you to all of our moms members for all of the work that you did. We read your letters, and then we sent those letters to senators, and they read them from the floor. Trisha was key. Thanks, Trisha, for making sure that those senators got those letters and they were reading them from the floor. They were talking about what's happening in your communities with your kids. And it was important that that information in those letters be read by those senators. And it's even more important that we continue to keep the current administrator and the current administration aware of the fact that we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here to make sure that we are part of the oversight and that they are fully aware that moms and dads are watching carefully to see what regulations they are trying to pull back in the protection of our children. So, hey, again, not the vote that we wanted, but don't get down, because that's the type of work that we need. And hey, I got to give it to you. Now, I got to give it to our membership. You all were so pressing on this issue that they started, biting back a little bit, saying, hey, we're not all that bad. Actually, we think that you might be, but that's neither here nor there, because we're going to make sure that we stay face front and on that fight to make sure that we're protecting our kids against anyone that would try to come in and just not put a very honest and thought-provoking process in place when it comes to regulations that impact public health of our community. It's so important to us. So we're going to get into a bit more of, what next, what comes next. But before we do that, I want to say Happy Women's History Month to everyone. Yay! We have got some amazing women all over this country, and March is Women's History Month. And certainly to every single one of our mom members and all of our consultants and all of our team members, our field team members, our staff, and you, our members that are sitting and watching right now, thank you for being a part of this wonderful organization and Women's History Month. If you see and look on our Facebook page, we have highlighted Gina McCarthy, former EPA administrator under the Obama administration, an amazing woman in her own right who certainly made history with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and putting climate and climate strategies first. So Gina, we say thank you, and we highlight you on our Facebook. And if there are other women that are huge advocates in the environmental justice space, in the climate advocacy space, or even future women, up-and-comers, our young women that are activists, why don't you send us a note? Type out their name, put it into the comments so that we too can celebrate all women across this country and across this world that are taking positions and really working on climate issues. This is Women's History Month, and we're going to keep making history as we keep advocating for the things that we love. So, with that, what next on Wheeler? What next? What are we doing? What is Moms Clean Air Force doing? What are we working on? That is so important now that this administration is in place. And they are not wasting any time in getting about the business of protecting big business as opposed to the public health of the communities that we live in. And the first action has been to have and establish a hearing on mercury. Now, if you've been with us for a while, you've heard us talk about the MATS rule, the Mercury and Air Toxics rule, Mercury and Air Toxic Standard, which the EPA administration is currently considering a revision, or what we think is a rollback. Well, they have decided that the hearings on this will take place on March the 18th. And you're right, Mom's going to be front and center right there for those hearings. And it's important because for these hearings, this is an opportunity to provide testimony at an actual public, an administrative hearing that they have to put in the record. And this is your opportunity to make sure that your voice is heard. So what if maybe you can't be there for the public hearing, or there is, you want to participate but can't exactly get to Washington, D.C.? Don't worry about it. There's an opportunity, because you can always send in a comment, and that's exactly what we want you to do. We want to make sure that even if you cannot be present, that you are writing in and sending in comments to say, we must make sure that we protect the regulation as it is. What the proposal is, where our understanding is that there's going to be some of the Mercury and Air Toxic Standard. What does that mean? Well, the Mercury and Air Toxic Standard is in place to make sure that emissions that are coming from coal-fired power plants or other emitting industries, that there is a type of a scrubber or filter that's put on it to ensure that dangerous poisonous mercury does not get into the air. Now, we know that mercury is one of those poisons that it really inhibits the development of babies' brains. And we certainly want to make sure that we're protecting our children from poisons such as mercury. So to have the administration say, you know what, we think the industry can police itself. It really doesn't need our oversight. Well, you know, that's like me saying I can leave the cookies on the kitchen table and my 2-year-old isn't going to get them because I trust him and he's okay at policing himself. That's not how this works. And I think all of our parents out there know that's not how this works. And we want to make sure that the administration understands that we expect them to keep a full watch on industries to make sure that they are continuing to protect our children from dangerous poisons such as mercury and other poisons that are emitted into the air that this standard also protects us from. So this is why we are very, very concerned about this. And we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to voice your concerns and share that with the administration as well. So we're going to be bringing moms to the hearing. We're going to be bringing in our moms from all over the country to make sure that they are there, they're providing that testimony, and that they're telling stories. We want your story to carry with us. We want you to tell us what's happening in your community, and you can do that very easily. You can even do it right here on Facebook. I love Facebook. It's great. You can send us an instant message on Facebook, something quick, and say, hey, you know, this is what concerns me in my community. We have a power plant here. We have an emitting source here, and this concerns me because it impacts how my children breed. It concerns me because I want to make sure that mercury is not in the air for the child I'm about to have. We have a lot of moms out there that are expecting, and they need to know and have comfort that the EPA is not processing or even considering regulation that would put their baby in harm's way. But we got to hear from you. We got to hear from you. So I want you to, right now, if you are watching or you know someone, maybe an expectant mom, you know someone who lives around a industry that emits something into the air, and you say, you know what, Heather, I don't quite know what it is, but it may be something. Send them this, like share this with those networks right now. In fact, real easy, at the bottom of your screen, just hit the share button and share with your networks so that other people have this information. You never know who it may help. So, you know, real easy, that's your homework for right now. That's your armchair activism for this very moment. Just hit share it with your networks, and maybe somebody who does live in a space or an expectant mom who does need that comfort in knowing just can connect with us, and we can work on this issue together, okay? Can you all do that for me? I expect to see a whole lot of shares after today, a whole lot of shares. So that's definitely a Wheeler what next. We got to get on top of this with this mercury. We got to get on making sure that they are constantly aware of the fact that we're not going anywhere. We are here to stay, and our moms are advocates across the board. So that's your quick and easy homework right now, all right? I want to also talk about what we're doing in the month of March to, again, Wheeler what next? What are some other activities that are happening? This is an opportunity for everybody to support our young people. What I'm about to say next is really important, especially if you're maybe one of our moms or grandmas or dads that's joined us, and you say, you know, Heather, I hear a lot of stuff in times where you guys are talking and doing stuff for the little ones, but I have older kids, and I want to know some things that we can help them to do to get engaged. I'm so glad you said that, because I'm in that same boat. I have a 2.5-year-old that you all probably hear me talk about a lot. But I also have a 13-year-old that I love dearly, because she is the light of my life and helps out tremendously with the 2.5-year-old. And any parents out there that are parents of toddlers and teenagers, you know we are a special group of people. Well, there is something that's happening in the month of March that is great for our young adults, our teenagers, for them to get involved in, and that's the youth climate strikes. So if you've heard across the country that young people are getting involved with the climate conversation, and they are not playing around. We have begun to see in Europe young people who are very, very vocal in advocating for climate safety in their communities. And the United States is no different. I'm so proud of the young people who have been coming together to have the US version of their climate strikes. I don't want you to get afraid of the word climate strikes. This is the young people's advocacy and their movement, and they're doing it in the month of March. So I want you to keep a lookout on the Mom's website, here on our Facebook page, so that you can connect in, and you can connect in your young people and support the climate, the young people's climate movement, the climate strikes that they're doing in the United States. They'll be taking place in a lot of the big cities. So you'll see some events that'll take place in New York and in DC and in Chicago and Los Angeles. But there's also a lot of stuff that people are doing in their own small communities. And that's the beauty of this, is it's young people who are saying, we are concerned about climate. It's me supporting my 13-year-old as she takes a stand on climate. It's you supporting your young people as they're trying to figure out, what can I do? You know, Mom, I heard all of this work that you guys were doing to keep us protected from this Wheeler person coming over in the EPA. And, you know, now I need to know, what can I do? This is their time. Okay, this is their opportunity, and this is their moment. And as parents, we want to support them in this. It's nothing like raising a young activist. I was that kid. My mom and dad were social justice advocates that came to Mississippi from Baltimore, Maryland. My dad is a retired civil rights attorney. My mom's a retired school teacher. I was that kid that was running around at rallies and marches, that was messing up the papers, that was coloring on the flyers, that was falling asleep over in the back corner while somebody was giving a speech. You know, I was that kid at age 7 and 8 and 9 who was, you know, upset because my parents were dragging me to each and every single thing. But that never left. And that's what we're doing with our kids right now. When we're engaging our children in the passion that we have to stand up for climate action, the passion that we have to make sure that air pollution is not coming into all of our communities, it's going to our kids. And now there's an opportunity for our children to step up to the plate and to be a part of it in their own special way. So we're going to encourage them to do that in the month of March. We're talking, and you'll see some things coming on our Facebook page, some events that are showing up that are simply to support young people as they are being advocates for climate in their own right. I think it is absolutely amazing and beautiful for them to continue to do this, and we want to support them the entire way. So that's another Wheeler What Next in the month of March. Youth climate strikes. Watch out for them. Make sure that our kids are a part of them. If there is a sunrise movement, I'm sure you've heard the words Green New Deal come across either your screen or your radio or in television. You're seeing it all over the place. There is an engaging conversation around climate right now. And every aspect of it we think is wonderful and amazing. Somebody asked the question, you know, what are moms supporting and doing? Look, we support all facets of green. It can be forest green, it can be mint green, it could be deep Kelly green. We're happy about green. And like moms that you know any and everywhere, we love to make sure that we're supporting not only our young people and their advocacy, but that, you know, we're doing things that are going to move us in the right direction of climate safety and protecting our children from air pollution all across this country. So look out for that in the month of March. Mark it on your calendar. And in fact, I'm going to take a moment and go to a couple of events that we have coming up in the month of March, because these are exciting things. And you know, it's amazing that there is so much that's happening and that this is going to be a month of activity. So as I shared with you all, look out for the youth climate marches in your own community. When you are participating in those, do me a favor, do moms a favor, tag us on your social media. Like, this is a great opportunity for your young people, your kids, to use all those social media skills that I quite don't have and they got better than we do. But take pictures, go on Instagram, still tag Stop Wheeler, because we will be stopping Wheeler for the rest of this administration. So use the hashtag Stop Wheeler, use the hashtag Act on Climate, at Moms Clean Air Force or Clean Air Moms. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Stay in touch, because connecting with all of our communities is what keeps us connected. And we really, really want to continue to keep this energy and this passion going. So I definitely want you to do that. Also coming up in the month of March is we're getting ready for Mom Power Summits. That's the third and final Wheeler What Next for the month of March. Mom Power Summits are starting. Now, these were formerly our Mama Summits in 2018, but there are opportunities for you to be connected to your local mayor, our Moms and Mayors program. That is the opportunity for all of our membership to do some work at home. You know, we talk about a lot of things that are happening on the Hill and that are happening with the federal administration, but there's a lot that's happening right there on the ground in our own communities. A lot of local governments are really taking up the mantle and talking about clean energy, renewable energy, sustainability, green economic growth, and how they can do these things right at home. Even though the federal government may have taken a turn away from green initiatives, our local mayors and city councils have made up their minds that we will not be left behind. And I, for one, am more thankful for it. So we are encouraging you through our Moms and Mayors program to get connected to your local city council. Get connected to your local mayor. And we do that through our Mom Power Summits. We have a Mom Power Summit coming up in Texas. I believe Dee Dee is kicking off her Mom Power Summit on March 23rd in San Antonio, Texas. So if you are in and around the San Antonio area, this will be a great opportunity for you to get involved and see what's happening right there on the ground and what's happening in the local community. Dee Dee is doing an amazing job. I can't wait to see what happens at her Mom Power Summits. And these are almost like little play-ins that we have. These are the opportunities for people to go and meet their mayor, to talk about what are the green initiatives that maybe your community is doing. I'll give you a couple of buzzwords to use if you're thinking about doing something like this. Climate safety, sustainability, clean energy. Those are some things that we're really, really seeing reverberate throughout the municipal space. And this is something that's important for not just your community, but for our kids. Something that they can talk about very fluidly. It's amazing the stuff that they can think about and maybe want to even get involved in. So this is really a great topic for the month of March, but it's also something that, again, it's what next from Wheeler. We spent a lot of energy, and I don't want anybody to get downhearted by the Wheeler vote, because there's a lot of work that we still have to do. And this administration is not going to let up. So we cannot let up in our work. And I want to encourage you all today. So there are 3 things that I have given you that we should be doing. Actually 4 when I think about it now, but we'll go to the top line 3. Number one, this is Wheeler What Next. Heather's 3 things that you should be doing or involved in. Wheeler What Next. Number 1, mercury hearing. Send us your comments on the mercury and air toxics rollback. The hearing is on March 18th. The EPA will be taking comments. you can go online and make a comment, or if you don't understand the process and want some more information for it, send us a little message here at Facebook. We are happy and standing by to help you to make sure that your voice is heard at that hearing and that you can provide a comment and testimony. So that's number one, Mercury and Air Toxic Standards hearing. Circle it in red on your calendar, March the 18th. Number two, make sure that you are sharing. Remember, I told you there's a little share button at the bottom, and you can share this video with maybe someone who lives in a community where there is an emitting source. Maybe it's a power plant, maybe it's a pipeline, it's something, and they want to have information they can that they need to share, or stories they want to share with us. You can just hit the little share button. That's your armchair activism for today. They can just hit you can hit the little share button, share this video with your network, all right? We are all connected together. So make sure you get this out to them and encourage them. You know, there may be an expectant mom who's concerned because she lives close to an emitting source and she needs to know what's going on. Share this video with her, connect her to us so that we can all work together in making sure that our stories are heard. So that's number two, is share. Number three, there are the youth climate marches that are happening in the month of March, and we want to make sure that we are supporting our young people. They're happening all over this country. You're going to stay tuned in here at Moms Clean Air Force on Facebook, on our Twitter feeds. You're going to stay tuned in on our website, which should have something new coming soon, so you don't want to not check our website. Make sure you stay tuned into those sources so that we are really supporting people in our young people throughout our communities. And we're going to work on using all of our social media together. So we're going to Facebook, we're going to Instagram, we're going to do Twitter and tweet, and you're going to tweet us at Clean Air Moms. You're going to get your young folks to take pictures at the rallies and send them to us. We are still going to use the hashtag Stop Wheeler because we still have work to do to stop Wheeler, okay? I don't want anybody to think that this fight is over, because it is not. And we're going to keep that pressure on. This is just for the month of March. Don't forget, we have, again, Mom Power Summits that we want you to get connected to, and we have a lot of work to do. So it's just beautiful that we've got all of these things. I see a couple of comments, and I want to make sure that I go to a few of these. Oh, let's see. Columba, March 15th, 0 hour rally. Thank you, Columba, for sharing that. In Arizona, it's at 4 p.m., 0 hour, March 15th, 0 hour rally at 4 p.m. So thank you so much, Columba, for sharing that. And I see that there are a couple of comments about climate change. I can't read them all, but suffice it to say that climate change, I don't even think we're discussing whether or not it's real or not. We're at a point of understanding how it's impacting our communities, how it's impacting us, and what's happening and what we need to prepare for, and then how we need to keep our kids safe, because ultimately that's the goal. We want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to reduce emissions and do the best we can to ensure a safe, sustainable planet for our children for generations to come, and teach them their role. When we're working together in this space, we're not only learning from one another, but we're really helping one another. And that's one of the most important things that anyone can provide for their fellow man or woman and woman. We're all in this together. So last comment before we have to wrap up. We have our play-in that's coming up. That's right, in July, the annual Moms Clean Air Force play-in in Washington, D.C. will be live in living color once again. It is an amazing opportunity to not only come and lobby on the Hill, but also to engage with other parts of this membership, this wonderful organization from all over the country. And while I wish that we could bring every single soul of you to Washington, D.C., DC. We encourage those folks who can't come to come. So if you're in the Washington, D.C., the DMV area, and that's D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, we, of course, want you to come on over. There'll be more information coming out soon about how you can be a part of our play-in, whether you're in the area or not, because we want to continue our membership. Thanks so much for joining me for this Facebook Live. It's always a pleasure to connect with you, our members. You are what makes us who we are. Together, moms, dads, grandmas, uncles, grandpas, play cousins, godmothers, everybody working together to protect our children from air pollution and climate change. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.